as it flows out of your veins.
Thanks very much for having me. My name is Ed Riskin. I am here for the Yes on A campaign. Prop A is a $500 million general obligation bond. It was placed on the ballot with the unanimous support of all 11 members of the Board of Supervisors and the mayor. Not that many things are happening these days in City Hall with that kind of support. It was not a compromise measure as some of the others was. It was an unequivocally supported measure. And I think it's a recognition by the elected leadership as well as the rest of the city departments that transportation is really important. And any of us who live or work in San Francisco know that how easy or hard it is to get around town can really impact our quality of life and can impact the city's economy. So it's with that recognition, also recognizing that we haven't really made this level of investment in our transportation system in the last generation or so, that all 11 members of the board and the mayor supported putting this on the ballot. It's a general obligation bond that, like others we've done recently, is sized such that it won't require an increase in property tax rates. And we're able to do that because we only issue new debt by policy as we retire old debt or as the tax base grows to support the new debt. So it enables us to generate revenue that we can invest in our city without having to raise property tax rates. So while it won't raise property tax rates, it will enable some pretty significant investment in two key areas. One of them is muni, and it will enable investment in upgrading old muni maintenance facilities so that our vehicles can spend less time in the shop and more time on the street, which will lead to more service that we can provide. Investment in upgrading the accessibility of the system. So it's installing accessible boarding platforms and upgrading elevators and escalators so people with disabilities or other mobility challenges can better access the system. And most significantly, investing in changes in the right-of-way, particularly on the major corridors that carry a large number of muni riders, so that the muni buses and trains can move more efficiently through the city. So that can be upgrading traffic signals and having them communicate with the buses and trains so they can hold the green light. It can be expanding sidewalks at bus stops so the buses don't have to pull out of traffic and then fight their way to get back in. Transit-only lanes, other ways to make muni a better choice for more people. Or a more reliable and faster choice for option for those who don't have a choice. And we have a lot of people who really rely on muni to get around the city. So that's one part of the investment in muni, and then the other part is in making our streets safer for all road users. We had 34 people die in the streets of San Francisco last year just trying to get their way around town. 21 of those were people on foot. The others were driving or biking. The good news is that we have really good data working with the police department and the Department of Public Health to help us understand exactly where the serious and fatal collisions are happening and why they're happening. We also know, for the most part, what infrastructure investments we can make that will make them significantly less likely to continue to happen. So whether it's narrowing a crossing distance or enhancing the visibility of the crosswalk, adding pedestrian countdown signals, we know what we need to do, where we need to do it. It's just a matter of having the funds available to do so. So in short, that's what the $500 million will enable us to do, significantly improve and make our streets safer. Like every other GO bond, it's subject to citizen oversight from the Citizens General Bond Oversight Committee, which is a public body. Any sales of bonds, even after they've been approved by the voters, still require approval of this city's capital planning committee, the board's budget and finance committee, and ultimately the board of supervisors. So there's a lot of oversight on the revenues that are generated from general obligation bonds. So I'll just close by saying, just as we've been able to upgrade our libraries, our rec centers, police and fire stations, build new hospitals through general obligation bonds without requiring an increase in property tax rates, we can do the same for the transportation system, and that's what Prop A recommends. So thank you for giving me the time. I'd be happy to answer.
Sure, I'll get started if I may.
Sure, go ahead.